This camera,
Okay.
if you feel comfortable.
Sure.
Usually I talk here and then there.
All right.
Hi everybody, I am Kat with the Green Lake District. I am here with Jerry of
Evergreen Organix.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about some cannabis stuff. So,
Well, great.
How did you get into the industry, Jerry?
Well, it's an entrepreneur. We were in the real estate business, and we owned a building that everybody wanted to acquire. So
Okay.
that kind of was interesting because it was during a down economy, and we had tried to sell it before, and nobody was interested. So
Okay.
we started using it for one of our other businesses, and we started getting some offers that were probably about 50% above what it should be.
Right.
So,
and you were like, what's going on?
Absolutely. So when our realtor kind of told us what was going on, we were intrigued by it.
Okay.
And when we talked to the local county commissioners, they told us what was going on and suggested that we get into it because we have a strong management team and we have our own financial backing.
Yeah.
So that's how we did it.
That's how you did
That's
it.
how we
Okay,
did it.
so did you end up leasing that space, or did you sell that space, or did you just use that
So
space?
we just use that space. So
as your own,
yeah, as our own. So we're in the hospitality business as well, so we own a lot of high-end restaurants on the Strip.
Okay. Can you name them? Can you?
Well, I'd prefer not to.
Okay, there we go. There we go. We don't need to. They're just nice restaurants.
Very nice restaurants on the Strip. Just because of our licensing
Yes,
agreement,
absolutely,
we own that.
yes.
So there is a celebrity involved in it.
Okay.
So he doesn't want to.
Absolutely, I understand.
Connect the two.
Yes.
But we had some high-end chefs that basically we told one of them if she would be willing to sample the product or give us some samples that we could use in the cannabis industry.
Mm-hmm.
So she prepared a full line of cakes and cupcakes and different things, and of course chocolate bars. And,
Yes.
the traditional cookies that we're known for,
Yes,
and our brownies and our macaroons, and she's won an award on the macaroons and the brownies. And that's how it all started. So we basically thought, okay, we have a big enough building that we can do some grow on the backside. We'll do a lab. We'll do extraction. We didn't know anything, so we just we leaned towards a consultant who kind of gave us the platform and took advantage of us.
It's so funny because I feel like when you first start in the cannabis industry, you're like, I'm gonna get into it, and then it's like you got to learn about this and that, and terpenes, and there's like 1,000 different CBD varieties.
Absolutely.
And you're like, whoa, this is a lot. Or like the testing, especially in Nevada with the testing,
it's very expensive. That's the thing that's been the most challenging is we have a product that we developed and we know what our costs are to develop that product. Then we have to add the extraction costs of THC, the cost in the secondary market, the testing that goes along with it, the liability of the taxes, both state, local, and then federal. And then we come up with our pricing.
Wait, so they're taxing you on the federal level?
They're taxing us on every level.
Even though it's kind of ironic.
So we get basically what's the 280E law that we follow when we file our tax returns, which it was created back in the day for illegal businesses. So basically they only allow you to write off your cost of goods sold. So I can't write off my sales team, my magazines, any kind of donations that we make. I can't write off my salary if I were to take one, so I just don't take one.
The marketing,
all that stuff is non-deductible. It's just anything that's related to creating the product itself, which makes it very difficult. So if you have a product that you're selling for, let's say, $10, and it costs you $3 to actually make it, but you have a building and you have insurance and you have all those other things, and those might be another, let's call it $5.
Right.
So your potential profit is 20%.
Right.
So $2. In a normal business, you'd be taxed on $2.
Right.
In our case, we're taxed on $7.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what's really challenging.
Yeah.
Because at 36%, you now take that's $2.10. So that number doesn't work. So we have to increase it a little bit more to try to pay the IRS their money. Yeah. And then get a little bit profit in between. So it's really challenging.
It's funny because I feel like everybody outside of the cannabis industry thinks there's so much money in the cannabis industry.
There's not.
You get into it, and people are like, "No, you don't understand." It's like what? It's like there's so many things that are so confusing, and then also everybody's trying to expand, so all the money goes back into the businesses.
Well, and one of the things that if you're in the legal business, you're making money. You have none of these extra costs. You're not paying taxes, obviously. So that's where the misnomer came, and we were gullible to believe that there was a good profit in it. But one of the biggest things that we talked about is we were looking at it from a medicinal standpoint, and it turns out we had some family members that were self-medicating that we didn't know. Yeah. And as we started to find out and talk to people, that was kind of one of the key things. Is I thought, we're on the edge of something great, and I think this is something like what prohibition and alcohol did.
Right.
When people went through that, they kind of were taking a lot of risk, and they just. That was a different category of what they were. But
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
It is.
You're fighting change is really what it is. And this one for medical was a very hard thing to develop and to get involved in. And we were losing money like crazy, but we were committed, so we stuck it out.
How long has the company been around?
So we started off in 2015. Our first sale was in 2016.
Okay.
So we built all our building in 2015. We did our first sale in January of 2016 to Silver State Relief, Euphoria, Inyo. There was only like 3 or 4 dispensaries open. So we had this massive building. We had like 5 employees, and we were doing these little tiny sales because just demand wasn't really great.
Yeah. But you guys are in a ton of dispensaries now.
But now we're in pretty much all dispensaries. I mean, we try to service the dispensaries. We're not in the dispensary business ourselves because we want it to be independent.
Right.
So sometimes they get mad at us if somebody's offering a sale, and we're very equal across the board. We have a purchasing platform where everybody gets the same price.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we go around and we offer different people different specials that they may want to do that work for them. So everybody's equal. They all get the specials that they want. Especially when we have an older product that maybe we made too much and we have some and we need to blow the older product out. So we'll take a discount on it, let the dispensary take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So we're running specials with dispensaries all the time.
Yeah.
And for the most part, we have a great relationship with a lot of them. They all appreciate what we're doing. We do 100% money back guarantee. So we take away that fear of getting stuck with our product.
Yeah.
Because our product is good. Have you tried our product?
I have definitely tried your product. I love the cookies. The brownies are fantastic too.
Yeah, so we come up with, and we're constantly developing new things. So we do the cookie of the month. We do the chocolate bar. Started off with milk and dark, and then we've progressed to I think 11 different flavors that we have.
So I was talking about this yesterday with Emma, and you might be able to answer this question. So because I travel around a lot for touring with productions and stuff like that, I get to go to dispensaries around the country. And when I went to Portland, they had single serving samples like that you could purchase for $3 to $5.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the smartest idea ever. It's like the gateway.
Right.
And also if you're in town for 24 hours and you don't want to buy like 100 milligrams of something. Why don't they do that here in Vegas?
So you have to look at it's cost prohibitive.
Yes.
So the cost of testing and the cost of labeling and the labor involved with doing this. We're a small boutique, so we don't have the room for flow wrapper machines and high production, so we can't get our costs down.
Yeah.
There's an individual that actually hand wraps every single chocolate bar, every single cookie, things of that nature. We do have single dose cookies. They're 30 milligrams, but they're cut into 3.
I actually purchased that with my sister last year.
So the price point on that is a little bit lower. I think it's like $10 retail.
Yeah, it's like $9 or $10.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. And then we have our can of cubes that I think that's 100 milligrams, but they're 5 milligrams each.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of bang for your buck, but it's one of those things that if you're not going to consume 100 milligrams, you're going to want to share. So
right, exactly.
For a low purchase price, you can share with several different friends. But the state doesn't encourage that, and they don't want. They basically are regulating this very carefully, and rightfully so.
And it's for all the potential complaints that there can be about Vegas, I actually think that it's the best because, I was dating a guy last year in California, and he was like, oh, do you want to do an edible? And I was like, well, what's the dosage? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, I like my little individual dose. I know exactly how much I'm getting. And I was like, I have to work tomorrow morning, so I have to know how much I'm consuming so that I'm.
And we have people all the time that. Can I offer you water?
Oh, sure, yes. Thank you.
Let me get you water.
Okay. Or actually, you can just hand me that one right there.
So, we have people... I always forget we're on camera.
That's all right.
I have people all the time that... I know, I have people all the time that ask me, about... Why aren't we doing 1,000 milligrams anymore? And I'm like, but they're patients. And the patients do build a tolerance to it. The problem that we have right now is there is a shortage of the amount of product available on the grow side. So there's more and more coming. There's an influx of edible producers, but there's not that many growers that are selling their trim. Yeah. And a lot of them are vertically integrated, so they're all keeping their trim.
Right,
so we keep ours, but because of the demand of our product, we have to buy outside of our. So we tend to buy distillate rather than trim.
Okay.
Because we know our trim's clean, and for the most part, we're an organic grower, so. We buy the distillate because it's as pure as we can get it.
Yeah.
And the testing comes out really nice and clean.
It's nice because we do have some of the most restrictive. I was talking to somebody in California, and they do their own grows, and they were saying that they were all organic, and they were saying at the end of this month that a lot of companies are going to have to destroy a lot of their products because they're changing the regulations in California. Yeah.
The testing regulations are getting tougher and tougher.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, we don't use any pesticides or anything like that, so... but heavy metals exist in water and soils and things of that nature, so we get a little nervous.
Right, and I mean, that's one of the number one reasons why you shouldn't be buying in the black market, and that I did not understand that when I first got into this industry, and as soon as I learned it, I was like, whoa, this is, especially living in California,
you could be inhaling mold, you could be inhaling spores, you could be consuming. Yeah. Botulism is very easily to obtain, and somebody cooking edibles in their not refrigerating it and keeping it in their house and then distributing it out in their car.
Right.
It's not good. It's very dangerous. And
Absolutely, and it is one of those things, especially with California's black market being so strong, and a lot of it coming from Mexico, that people like don't even understand that there's so many levels of people this is totally organic. And
well, you know the thing with people, if they get sick, they're not going to probably say it was the cannabis that got me sick. They might think, oh, it was the lunch that I had, or maybe the breakfast that I had, or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll always go to food before they consider that maybe it was the cannabis product that I consumed.
Right, exactly. So
it'll be interesting to see how it all progresses, but it's headed in the right direction.
It really is, and it's a very exciting time. Like the first people that we interviewed with this program was Justin Streckel of the National Normal. He's the political director. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Maddie, who is the executive director of Normal here in Vegas. Okay. And like, you know, he was talking about like building out the laws, because that's like one of their main goals is to like make sure that the laws are fair for everybody. Because literally Normal started with a $5,000 check from Hugh Hefner in the 70s to be like, I don't want people who smoke weed to get prosecuted. And like that's pretty much been their shtick. And he's like, we went through a phase where we were very popular, and then we kind of died down, and now we're trying to come back. And like they help build the infrastructure in terms of like the creation of an industry. And like he's like, it's very malleable in the beginning, and then like as we become like more a business, it's gonna harden. It's like clay.
Well, and you know, since we're so committed to this, I mean, we donate pretty much any in excess money that we make to the Say Yes on 2, to the particular, you know, governances that are friendly to the cannabis and really understand the cannabis and want to make a difference and want to keep it, you know, regulated fairly and things of that nature. And then of course the indigent care, as you know, we've done some stuff together for the PTSD guys, and we've done a lot of other things on top of that, helping patients that can't afford cannabis solution. So
and it's very nice, because it is one of those things where I don't, a lot of times I find that people don't even understand that it's an issue until they've been talked into the solution, and then they're like, oh my god, I got rid of this anxiety that like. And I mean, I've mentioned this before, that I was at the attack at Route 91, and I kind of had to self-medicate for a couple months, and I didn't even realize it as I was in it. But like there was that level.
Stressful.
Yeah, I mean there was, and like I always say, I was like the luckiest of situations. Like I walked away without a scratch on me.
Right.
But like, you know, it is like you have such a level, and anxiety is literally just cortisol always running through your body, and it's like. I have so many friends that were in Afghanistan or Iraq and like come back and they just don't know how to deal with it, and it's really nice to give them a solution.
Oh, absolutely. We did a program that during Christmas, I think it was the year before last, where we allowed people to write in and give us their story, and we were going to award one person with a month's supply of RSO.
I remember this. I remember reading this in one of the magazines.
Yeah, so it was going to cost us about $5,000.
And you guys also you would give them the med cards too. Yeah,
yeah. We paid for all the for them to get. You know, the state regulates what we do and how we do it.
Exactly.
So, you know, we basically paid for certain things for them, and then we had to sell it to a dispensary who sold it to them for $1.
Right. Exactly.
But the dispensaries were great, because what they did is they had employees that paid for the $1. You know, they kind of, everybody paid to help this person get it for free. In essence, it wasn't free, but you know, people were helping out. So that was a real successful program, but we didn't limit it to just one person. There were so many compelling stories that we ended up giving, I think, about 13 people a month's supply, which cost us well in excess of $30,000.
Oh wow!
But it was important, and you know, I think. You know, they were able to tell their story, and one of them contacted the local news and did a story on it, and they came and contacted us. And,
oh, nice!
Yeah, they did a tour, and they were able to see. But I think the awareness is the key thing, and education is what we keep trying to develop, so that it becomes more and more of a normal, from a medical standpoint, and even from a recreational standpoint. Before I got into this, I've never tried it, and I thought, I have to try it. I can't be a hypocrite. So my wife and I went to Colorado and consumed, and I laughed a lot. You know, we definitely laughed a lot, and we got hungry. You know, that was definitely part of it. We locked ourselves in our room, but it was quite the experience. You know, I slept the best I've ever slept in my life. I woke up the next morning, didn't have any kind of hangover, if you will, or anything like that. And I just thought, you know, this is more harmless than probably 5 martinis.
Yes.
You know, or 5 glasses of wine, or you know, 6-pack of beer. You know, and I was hooked. But, you know, to me, I just thought this is what I want to do, and I think we need to give back and educate and do the best we can.
Do you find that you consume less alcohol or the same amount of alcohol
You know,
now?
I've never been a big drinker, but I don't consume a lot anymore. Like if we go out, I don't consume a lot. I will consume an edible to help me sleep if I'm not sleeping well. I'm pretty much the guy that I just don't do anything. I just don't. You know, my wife was like, "Hey, would you like to try something?" I'm like, yeah. But if I can't sleep, I definitely know, and I will consume it. Yeah, it's just I don't feel I need it. You know, I use it when I need it. Yeah. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to get a buzz on because I'm stressed, so I don't need a drink or anything like that. Pretty balanced little life. So
that's good. That's good. I usually I find I go one of two ways. One, like it's like. And I always say my tolerance is so low. I'm like, oh, it's a crazy night when I have like 20 milligrams. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. But like usually I'll like microdose it like somewhere to 2 to 3, like where I'll cut something up, and that's just to kind of like, it's like I get slightly.
It's relaxing.
And it's like it just allows the flow, especially when it comes to creativity. Better.
And that's one of the things that we do. I don't do it a lot. I mean, I think I do it probably 2 to 3 times a week, maybe. Yeah. Usually when I'm going to go to sleep, because I have never been in the situation where, and they're edibles, and you know, in edibles, whenever you make an edible, there is no such thing as a indica sativa edible unless you're putting distillate on it. Because generally when you cook an edible, you're cooking out the terpenes. Okay. So it's a matter of preference. Do you like the taste of cannabis with a bitter taste? Yeah. You're going to get the terpenes, and you're going to get that effect. Or if it's cooked into the product, which all our stuff is homogenized and cooked into the product, we don't spray or drizzle anything on top, so it all gets burnt off with the heat. So it's strictly a THC thing. What we found is with the THC, it affects the body just like it normally does on any other. You know, like what they recommend for medication. Right. It's just people's preferences. Right. But we've found if you're uplifted and you're in a good mood, kind of helps stimulate that. If you're ready to go to sleep, it helps stimulate that. Because I've taken all kinds, and I've always, when I'm ready to sleep, it helps me sleep. Yeah. So.
It's interesting because, like, going back to when I was in Portland, when I went to go buy an edible, I was like, is this indica or sativa? And they're like, it's just an edible. Yeah. Whereas, like, here,
it's just THC.
Yeah, we still classify most things as a sativa or indica when it comes to an edible.
And there's people that have that preference, and you know, and I don't want to mislead people and say, oh, this was made with a sativa brand, but by the way, it's really not sativa anymore. Now that we've cooked it all out. Right. So we just don't do it. People ask, and we'll tell them what the base strain is, and if it helps them with. You know, because sometimes the mind is so strong. You know, if you think, okay, this is a.
Oh yeah, the placebo effect is like. I mean, like all the studies about placebo effects, you're just like, this is like.
Without a doubt. Yeah. Without a doubt. So you know, that's kind of like I said, we're just a very boutique-ish and very honest and very direct cut. You know, we just believe in high quality and high delivery. So that's what we offer: 100% money back guarantee to the vendors, and we always tell them if there's a customer that's dissatisfied, give them their money back. Let us know about it, and we'll credit you.
Now, have you thought about branching outside of edibles, or do you like being just the edible kind of?
So we are the Flavor RX vape pen brand. Okay. And then on our grow we do Green Life Productions. Okay, we do floor cannabis.
But you're just best known for that.
We're best known for the edibles in Evergreen. Okay. And then Flavor RX is a popular brand in California here, and then Evergreen is now in California, Colorado, and Arizona.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we're looking at some other states right now.
Yeah, that's super exciting.
Yeah, it's for a small thing and being short time in business, we're pretty happy about it.
I know. Well, that's the crazy thing about the cannabis industry is because we're in the beginning, everything just gets like escalated. Yeah. Like
it's really. I mean, you know, it's one of those things where you look at, you know, what's happening in the marketplace, and as much as I say, you know, we're not making much money, or we're not making any money because we pay so much money in taxes. Right. The company is growing in the sense that people have a desire to be part of it. The brand is growing because people have a relationship with it. It's like our floor cannabis line. That was created to be very simple. We have basically 4 base strains of CBD, indica, sativa, and a hybrid. Right. And we pick one strain that we sell at a time that we consider, you know, basically pheno hunting, if you've heard of. Yeah. That's kind of what our grower Steve does, is he pheno hunts. He finds something that he likes. We throw it out in the lifestyle brand of floor. It's in a nice box, so it, you know, looks nice. It's just nice. It's not one of those real quickie, down and dirty type deals. I mean, we do a good job at making it look nice. Yeah. And making people feel good about their purchase, and it's not overpriced. You know, it's right there in the high quality. It's meeting the mean of what everybody expects. Yeah. So and we have relatively a small grow where, you know, you hear about these 100,000 square foot grows. Ours is just under 30,000 square feet. Yeah, but it's still, it's a good size grow. Yeah, it's still a good size grow, but it is funny. It's not gigantic, but
right. Yeah, like some of the ones that are being built out here. Like,
yeah, there's some craziness, and I kind of feel. I mean, our belief is if we stay small, we can control things. Yeah. So therefore, we can control our QC, and we can ensure that people are getting a high quality product. Yeah. Everything's hand trimmed. Everything's hand rolled kind of thing with a little shaker box that helps put it all in place. But you know, they're stuffing and they're making sure everything's the right weight.
I have worked in the food service industry for a very long time. I was a chef, a personal chef. I've been a server on and off forever, and like the last 10-15 years I've been a food writer. And it's so interesting because people are always like, oh, it's the next big restaurant. And I'm like, if it's a big restaurant, you have to cater to the masses. The best restaurants are tiny restaurants.
Absolutely.
And ones that like you have to fight to get on the wait list.
Yeah, it's neat to watch our staff. I mean, we have a very high caliber staff. They're very talented, and of course I never say no to any product that they want to buy.
Right.
You know, we just have to pencil it out and make sure it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, when some people are paying $4 a pound for chocolate and we're paying $19 a chocolate, you can tell there's a big difference. So our price of chocolate's a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you've tasted our chocolate, you can see it's a higher quality. Yeah. There's no wax. It's a true high grade cacao. And what we do is we source it from different parts of the world during the different seasons. Now most people don't do that.
Right.
It's like wine.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
can't get it from the same grower during winter season. It's gonna taste bitter, you know. So you have to go from one place to the other, and I'm not gonna divulge that information because it's bad enough our competitors are trying to reverse engineer into what we do.
So I worked at the Santa Monica Farmers Market for a few years, and that is, you know, pretty much one of the farmers markets that started the farmers market movement. And it was so interesting because like they would have these free talks in Santa Monica, and they'd be like, well, you know, the majority of the country doesn't realize that apples have a season. Yeah. You know, that like if you're getting an apple at a certain time of year, like if you're getting an apple in the summertime, it's from somewhere else. Absolutely. And it's getting picked, and it's 3 weeks old.
Absolutely. One of the funny things, my favorite fruit is watermelon. And I always tell my wife during the non-season, go get some watermelon. She's like, you don't want it. It's going to taste terrible.
Yeah, it's so true.
You know, so I'm like, just get it. And of course she's right.
Yeah.
And then during season they taste fabulous, of course.
It's like tomatoes. Like everybody considers tomatoes to be a year-round fruit, and it's not. Yep. And you can tell a summer tomato from one that's hydroponically grown under the lights that you're just like, this is.
It's not. It's bland.
Yeah. So. Like every Christmas, my sister makes caprese salad because it's green and red and green, and she's like, it's Christmas.
Well, you know, my wife is from the Ukraine, and she's very keen on that because they pickled everything during the harsh winters. Right. You know, they didn't have things like what we have here in the United States.
Does she pickle the watermelon for you?
You know, she doesn't. She said that they do have pickled watermelon.
It's a very
I'm like, I'm not into it. Yeah. But the only pickled vegetables I like are that on a banh mi. Mm-hmm. You know? So that's about it.
I love going to those restaurants in LA where it's like they'll have like the pickled options where it's like we have this pickled appetizer and this pickled appetizer, and I'm like,
not a big fan.
Yeah.
But you have to really love vinegar in order to.
You do. I do love vinegar. I'm one of those people that does the shots of the apple cider.
See, I'm with you there. Yeah. It's kind of part of the healthy regime, but
get your alkalinity.
It's not my favorite. Yeah. You know, I think my favorite pickled item is a pickle. Yeah. You know? Ideally, especially with barbecue. So.
When it's so funny because like I've got my boyfriend into it, and he's like you're crazy like with the shots of the apple cider vinegar, and I happened to get hired to work. Are you familiar with who Grant Cardone is? Mm. He's a motivational speaker in real estate. He manages a fund of about like $500 million in real estate. Nice. And he's kind of like Tony Robbins style, and he did a 10x growth con that I got hired to be at, and I was backstage with all of these billionaires, and I watched him like doing shots of the apple cider vinegar, and I'm like, it's good enough for Grant Cardone, it's good enough for us.
Funny, like, and the brand is Bragg's. Everybody likes Bragg's.
Exactly. Everybody knows the Bragg's. Everybody. So.
Very true. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So what's going? What projects are you guys working on? What's going new?
So right now we have a tasteless powder. Okay. So we've partnered with a chemistry group who are licensing out their process to take the distillate, freeze dry it, break the compounds, wrap the THC to where it becomes water soluble in what they would consider they call it nanotechnology. But if you put it in this product here, it would make it slightly cloudy. Yeah. But it is tasteless.
Yeah.
So
you can put it in your coffee.
You can put it in your coffee. You can put it in anything. So you don't have to have a specific edible that you want if you know how to measure out. We're giving little spoons that come with it, so it'd give you 10 milligrams based on the base material, and you can put it in whatever you want to.
Nice.
That way, you know, we get asked all the time for savory. The problem with savory is you have to take a lot more conditions into making it shelf stable. Okay. And we're all natural, so we nitrogen blast, we flash freeze, we do certain things, and the dispensaries are good about keeping them frozen and you know, to maintain the freshness of them. Yeah. But you know, we don't add any preservatives or additives or fillers, so you know, it's one of those things where people could use this on fresh food. Yeah. If that's what they like.
Yeah, almost like a.
You can put on a salad. You can put on anything. I mean, we've tried the olive oils and the salad dressings, and we recently did a deal with Essence for barbecue sauce that they wanted to custom make for themselves, so we basically white labeled it for them.
Okay.
But I don't know how those sell, and it just seems like a lot of shelf space for a lot of different products, when this one product might be that it might fit that little market for somebody that has a desire for coffee, but they want their own coffee.
Right.
Or they like to medicate with something ingestible, but they don't like the taste of oil, so put it in water.
Yeah.
Put it in an Arizona iced tea. Put it in a Snapple. Whatever you want to do. It dissolves really well and evenly.
And it's THC, or is it CBD, or both?
We're working on a CBD, but it's THC right now.
Okay. And can you purchase that right now, or is it coming out?
It's being tested at Essence with the bud tenders there, and then they've put in an order, and I think Showgrow and several others are.
Oh, nice! So you kind of like
pre-ordering, yeah.
So you get to do like R&D with the bud tenders,
So we basically deliver it to them for $1 and get their opinion on it, so that we know how to fine tune it before we send it out into the market. The last thing we want to do is have a bunch of consumers spend their hard-earned money on it and then come back and say, I didn't like this.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure it works for everybody, make sure that it, and it's like anything else. Some people say, well, I did 10 milligrams, it didn't affect me.
Right.
Well, what's your tolerance?
Right. Do you know your tolerance?
Exactly. Exactly. So, so we're just trying to get our arms around it to see what the effects are. And, things of that nature. So
it's so funny. We did a show in LA last week for Pinups on Tour, and because of this brand, people come up to me and they're like, I wanna try it. Like, what's it? And then have the conversation where I explain it to them, and she's like, I have really bad anxiety about flying, and a lot of people, suggested edibles, and her husband's a cop, and like California just became recreational legal, and I was like, okay, well, here's the thing you do. I'm like, you guys head it home and you do this and you wait, you wait longer than you think you should, because like that's
I always tell people wait at least 2 hours, and your first time out, wait at least 2 hours, and it depends on what edible you're having. We have some edibles that are good for, our gummies, for example, are basically it's a pâté de fruit, so it's a fruit chew. It's made with fruit puree, and I don't know if it's the enzymes in the fruit. It's got low sugar. It's pretty vegan friendly. But that takes probably about 30-40 minutes. Yeah. And then we have some other edibles that some of our brownies might take about an hour and 30 minutes. Right. I've never had anything beyond an hour and 30 minutes for me. Yeah. I've had stuff as fast as 30 minutes. But some people, their metabolism is high.
And also, it's like, it depends what you've eaten. Like, I feel like there's so many different factors involved with that.
There really are. Yeah. Edibles are something else. It's one of those things where we always tell people, to just start off slow and slow. Yeah. Get used to what you have. The cost ramifications are nothing. I mean, if you take a look, if you're a smoker, I'm not a smoker, so one of the things that I've asked smokers is, well, how long does it last? And they're like, 15 to 20 minutes. I'm like, wow. I know. That's a big investment for something that doesn't really stay with you for a long time. Yeah. So you're constantly having to smoke. Might work with the vape pens, but people aren't indicative of the vape pen. Yeah. Edibles is only about 10% of the market. People say it's growing, but it's still one of those things where the number one segment is still smoking, rolling a joint or smoking in a pipe or a bong.
Yeah, it is very funny, because like that is one of the reasons why I think I side with the edibles, is that I like that prolonged kind of like.
It could be as long as 2 hours or as short as 2 hours, but as long as 4 hours.
Yeah. So it's like we when we took the Green Light District to Portland and Seattle, all of our performances were in spaces that had alcohol. So we were very clear on all of our, because of issues in the past, we were very clear that like there's no consumption whatsoever. This is social use is not actually existing right now.
It's education.
Yes, and like our big phrase is, come high because the space won't provide. And I was like, take your edibles, like, do
what you want to do.
Yeah, do it beforehand, and then like, and it's very interesting because it's a completely different audience than an alcohol audience.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's like they all were singing. We had like so many people singing during our.
Fun.
It was so.
It definitely is a different kind of enjoyment. I mean, from a relaxation standpoint, but from a free will standpoint. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people when they consume alcohol, they become very aggressive. Yes. And there's people that consume alcohol and then they just become giddy. Yeah. But with cannabis, I've never seen anybody become aggressive.
No, they usually just become sleepy.
Right. Absolutely. They're just the life of the party, or they're wanting to hug and kiss everyone. Yeah. Somebody told me one time that I thought was right. They said, when have you ever heard a report that somebody came in and robbed a bank and they were under the influence of strictly THC? Yeah. They'll always find THC, of course, because they want to make it the bad guy, but it's usually PCP or something stronger. And then a lot of times alcohol is involved as well.
I was at the bar and nightclub trade show last year, And I saw a panel that it was their first cannabis panel. This year they had like 5 cannabis panels, but that was the first time they'd ever done it. And it was like Trip Keebler from Dixie Elixirs was on there, Freddie Munch was on there, and Freddie produces cannabis events, and he was talking about how they were doing private events that were non-ticketed, so that were like that's the way they could do it, and they had to get security. And he's like, truthfully, the security was not actually for the event, because our events could go all night long. It was for the people who got out of the bar at 2 and then wanted to get into the cannabis event. He's like, by that point, like most people were just like,
That's true. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was such an interesting statement to me.
It'll be interesting to see what happens if the state of Nevada allows these consumption lounges. I mean, I think it'll be the first of the states to have an actual lounge itself.
Yeah, there's that coffee shop in Colorado that's approved. That's the only
Is that the only one?
That's the only approval I know of. I know that Colorado has 2 other applications have gone in. One of them is a social use that's more on like the gym culture side, and then the other one I think is also gym culture.
They do a lot of dining events, but they don't allow that here. I think some people have allowed that. I think that they were doing a dining thing that got ixnayed.
Yes, yeah. So, but I love the dining events when.
We get asked to produce, to provide, canna butter or coconut oil or something like that in it, and we basically can't donate it, so we just let them buy it at a discount. Tell them where they can get it for the best price. Yeah. But we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting. It's just everybody's figuring it out, and like I did an interview recently with Munch Idea, and I was like, listen, it's very easy to judge the people who are not informed, and it's very easy for them to judge us. Right. And it's like we all just have to be patient with each other, because we're all working towards the same goal.
Absolutely.
And it's just to be able to have a fun time and like also like do it in a controlled environment that like nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
So, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, we're really working on trying to see what the next edible would be. I mean, we do everything from cereal treats to chocolate bars, and we do quite a bit of chocolate flavors. We do the microdose candy, we do the gummies, we do the potato fruit gummies, which we call fruit chew, but we're also doing regular gummies as well. Then we do topicals. We have some salves and some face and body creams that are really nice. And lip balm.
The beauty industry is just busting open with CBD right now. It's insane. So, I
use it. I'm 90 and look at how I look. Just kidding.
You look amazing.
I'm 50 though. So but yeah, so we're trying to take we're trying to do the best products we can. Yeah. In the marketplace, and then stick with those. I mean, we tried to do a tincture, and we used basically a coconut oil. Yeah. And people didn't like it.
No.
No, they didn't.
They didn't like the consistency.
I think it was too greasy for them. And then there was other people that came out at the time, and they kind of had already gained that market share. So, so we just pulled out of it. We decided instead of putting in alcohol or trying different things and keep beating our head against the wall, we just thought, it's something we just didn't do. We didn't execute it well, so let's just get away from it.
I think you should do like a Willy Wonka factory fountain, like the chocolate fountain.
Oh, yeah. You'd be like, we could, but it's just a matter of who's going to buy that and how we dose it.
Exactly. You'd be like, this is not, we don't even know. This is
We've been asked to make wedding cakes and make all kinds of stuff, which we have the capacity to do. It's just a matter of being able to sell it. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
There's not a pack of a child-proof container that's a resealable that would fit over a cake.
Right. So it would have to be individually
custom made. Like what we used to make cake pops before the recreational, and somebody bought a bunch of cake pops and put it on the tray, and it's kind of. They were 100 milligram cake pops, so they're pretty potent.
I will tell you that there was one edible adventure that I went on, and it was all night long, and very early in the night, it was this is dosed as this is this is an appetizer, it's 3 to 6, and you're supposed to kind of gauge yourself, and then by the end they were handing out cake pops that were 50 for dessert, and I was like, it was literally the highest I've ever been in my life, and I was like, how can you expect me to consume this now?
Like I said, once again, just experimenting and seeing in the very beginning, when we were in Colorado the second day, I tried, I was trying 5 to 10 milligrams, right? And that was potent for me. Yeah. So I thought, I'm gonna get on the wild side, and this one's a 30 milligram. I'm gonna do the whole thing. I was down. I did it around noon. I was down for almost 2 days. Yeah. And I just felt a little queasy, and I felt a little I didn't feel functional.
It's a different kind of hangover. It's like a sluggish kind of hangover.
Yeah, I could still feel high, So for me, I just slept it off, and once I slept it off, I was fine. Yeah. But I got
a really good night's sleep.
24 hours worth of good sleep. I tell you what. So, You know, that's the one thing that I've always asked any, big consumer is, how do you feel? And they're like, I'm just so used to it, And like, there's a guy out here that he's in the media business, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Yeah. But he'll consume 1,000 milligrams like nobody's business, and you can't even tell him changing. He's the same guy. He's humorous. He's wild and crazy.
I have actually heard stories of this, and it's like...
And he'll dab on top of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, it just stays with me. I feel good.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, like, those people who have that high tolerance... I actually interviewed Jason Sturtzman, and he said that there's some kind of gene that also... that there are certain people that...
Metabolize it.
Yeah, it's like, it's something in their genetics that they are able to consume so much more than... the majority of the people out there.
It's got to be an expensive venture for them.
It's so true. It's like those people, like my mom detests like cilantro. She has that gene where like you the smell of it.
Makes her like
that and truffle oil, which is so sad because I love truffle oil so much.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm like,
especially on French fries.
Yes, exactly. That's the best. So. Anything else, or?
That's about it. I mean, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you so much for like allowing us.
We can talk about every single one of our products, but we'd be here for hours.
I know you guys have so many products. So.
We do. So like I say, we're all about the sweet and vegan and we also have sugar-free products. I forgot to tell you.
Yes, which is very important for the diabetics because like.
Well, and that's one of the things that the reason we went there is everybody told us if I have cancer, I can't be consuming your product. Yeah. But if you had something, that's why we always recommended butter or their can of coconut oil. Or RSO or some of our other products. So now with the sugar-free products that we have several. And then we have a 1-to-1 CBD to THC product as well.
Nice.
So we're trying to serve the market with everything that we can.
Yeah.
And every dispensary likes to carry a different hodgepodge of things. So we're in every dispensary with maybe not our full menu, but there's some things that dispensaries curate based on their demand by their clients.
It's so interesting because like the bigger dispensaries were like I hadn't been to NUO in a while, and I was up in North Vegas doing a gig on Friday for John Love's birthday party for the Las Vegas Medical Marijuana Association. And I swung by and I'm like, I just walked in, I'm like, wow, there's so much stuff in here.
Yeah, it's a big place.
It's a really big place.
Yeah, they did a good job there.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody has their own unique thing. I think Elevate Magazine at one point did like the assimilation of a dispensary to modern day something, and I think the Source was considered an Apple store. I think the apothecary shop was more like a coffee shop kind of thing, and everybody kind of had their own little deal there. But
it's true, and it'll be very interesting to like with the consumption lounge see how that goes too, because like.
And there's some spots that there's dispensaries that own their whole complex. And I think they have some pretty good spots where they can open up right next door to each other.
Yeah. Well, even with us, as we move forward with doing cannabis entertainment, we have now built out like this. We specialize primarily in vintage entertainment, so like we've got that cornered. We have your typewriting poets, we've got your flapper girls, your gangster guys, everything you can think of. But like we keep getting requested like all these childlike candy things now, so it's now like we're building up that repertoire of like all of these fun, playful, interactive, and it's like it's all these themes that you can almost go down in the world of cannabis, which is a lot of
pretty
fun.
Interesting.
Yeah,
pretty interesting. Well, have you heard of those guys that are opening up the Cannabis Museum down in the Fremont Street Experience?
No.
So they're opening up I think it's like a 3,000 to 5,000 square foot museum that they're going to do a cannabis education in, and
then like a tour.
Tour of history of cannabis. They'll have a lot of big props in it. I saw the plans on it. Look really neat.
Nice. I was in Amsterdam with my boyfriend a couple of months ago, and we jumped around to a bunch of the coffee shops, and they have like 3 or 4 museums that you can take tours of.
Pretty cool.
There. Yeah.
I mean, I just hope that we grow to that size here. I think we're managing it pretty well. We're very responsible. We just don't have enough visitors that are coming here and actually know that we have a cannabis program that's recreational.
Yeah.
A lot of people know us as being medical.
Right.
But people don't know it's rec, and Vegas is the party central or the entertainment capital or the visitors mecca.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is when they actually have a place where they can go and consume. It will be a game changer.
It should be.
Yeah, because even if it's special events, but like this whole thing of like people trying to do cannabis cups and then them becoming dry, and not even in our state, in other states too. That like it's like they think they're all go and then they're not, and you're like.
I think we had that problem when it was out in Moapo.
Yes, I was there for that, and it was a very interesting.
Everybody was nervous.
Yeah.
I think we were going to be an exhibitor there, and somebody called us, and I think the state called us and said, you probably shouldn't do it, so we had to pull out last minute.
Yeah.
And you know, we basically lost our investment in the spot that we paid for. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was, and I know that a lot of people came and they were like, oh, like, should I use the non-infused? Should I still use the infused, even though, like, it's, like, this situation?
We're a stickler for compliance.
Yeah.
We you know, if all, and you know, because we've been through it together.
Yes, yes.
So if all fails, we go with whatever the state says.
Right, exactly, because, like, you don't want them to be angry at you.
Right. It serves us well. They really have a good relationship with us, and we have a good relationship with them, and we're full, you know, transparency with them, and they come in and train at our facility all the time to see, you know, what to do, right? You know, kind of thing. We're kind of a resource for them.
And they are, it's next week. Unfortunately, I can't make it to that, but I was just emailing them in regards to it. They're doing a talk about social use next week, so.
They're really trying to get their arms around it.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I applaud them for doing that. It's necessary. And,
right.
They're not here to kill the industry. They're here to kind of find out what our best practices to help the consumer and to make sure that there's no producer that's going to do something crazy.
Right.
You know, both in the cultivation side and the production. So, you know, even when you have your you know, the extracts, you know, those are real popular. You know, obviously they're a big growing segment of the market.
Yeah,
besides vape pens, you know, you've got all that waxes and shatters and crumbles, which I don't know much about. We don't make them, so
they're so scary to me. Like I've dabbed once, and I was like, that was enough. Like
you know, we do enough. I just figured, you know, it's you know, we would have to do butane, and then we'd have to do this, and I thought, you know, we're fine.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be the biggest. We're just trying to do a good job.
Yeah, which is, I mean, an important thing. So,
it's served us well so far.
Yeah, I always, in the world of food writing, one of the things that turns me on more than anything else that I probably write about is craft. Like the concept of doing the best job possible in whatever field you're in.
Well, and that's kind of our thing. We do small batches because we don't have a bunch of machines. It's all it's all labor. Yeah. I mean, it's all handcrafted. Yeah. So
nice.
You know,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's always good to see you. Absolutely.
All right.